People of the world. So much 1030, so much August 5th. Facebook updates chat plugin for websites to enable messaging without logging into Messenger. Snapchat updates audience reach insights with regional audience counts. Facebook launches Black Business August to support and highlight Black-owned businesses. Twitter publishes new data on the effectiveness of utilizing multiple video formats in a campaign. And finally, your SEO checklist, the positive and negative signals you need to know about marketing as a foreign language. Oh yeah, starts right now. Oh me, oh my. Facebook has launched a new update for its Messenger chat plugin for websites, which enables businesses to prompt direct message conversations with visitors to their site via a pop-up chat window. Facebook has updated the design and format of the plugin and made it easier to integrate into your website code. So Facebook has updated the design and format. It's a plugin on your website. Okay. But the biggest change is that website visitors will now be able to start a messenger conversation with your business from your website without having to log on to Messenger to do so. I don't get it. As you can see here with the new chat plugin, there's an option to start a messenger conversation as a guest. Oh my gosh. Reducing the obligation for site visitors who are looking to submit a query. All right, so how does that work? How can a messenger discussion be maintained if the user doesn't provide contact details to reply to? That's a good question. Also, Esther writes, Leia with Pro Group Networks is now also the director of marketing. Oh my gosh. Leia, is Leia in chat? Who knows? So how does that work? I guess you sign up as a guest and you're just using Facebook. I would imagine that if you're going, let's say, looking for a car accident attorney or something, and you're popped onto a website and you were given the option to use Facebook Messenger instead of a typical messenger. Number one, I'm not sure I want to give my details, my personal information to the people right off the bat. So that could actually be a negative. But here there's an option for you to simply sign in as a guest. So I don't know. The limitation here is that you can only engage with guest users when that user is on your website. Guest chats will end when the user decides to end the chat from the More menu or 24 hours from the start of the conversation. Whichever comes first, the guest name will appear as guest followed by a short numeric string. Now, if I remember correctly, Facebook has internal metrics where they judge websites, rather, they judge Facebook pages based on the interconnectivity, which is to say that if you are chatting with more folks, it is possible that you're going to show up more often in Facebook. It is possible that by using the Facebook Messenger on your website, that you are more likely to get more reach with your Facebook account. This might be a reach, but it is possible that Facebook would give you points for using Facebook Messenger and communicating more, even if it is via a plugin. And according to Esther Sass, Leia is in the house. Welcome, Leia, to the show. Quote, the transcript of these guest chats will remain on the guest user's browser for up to 24 hours. Businesses, however, will retain a copy of the conversation in their inbox even after the chat expires until they delete it. There's a benefit there. So it's not as handy as being able to reply to a message when you have time. It's made for direct real-time responses, but still it could have significant benefit. Facebook says that businesses using the new chat plugin have seen a 45% increase in customers inquiring about their products and services. Definitely worth consideration. So apparently, according to Facebook, who has all the incentive in the world to say that there's an increase in customers inquiring using a Facebook plugin. Is it true that such a thing is happening? I don't know. but it is worth consideration. Facebook has actually been testing the new format with a select group of pages for some time. Back in May, social media expert Matt Navarra posted this update. Facebook's customer chat plugin now lets website visitors message businesses without being logged in. There you go. So we asked Facebook about it at the time, but they offered no further detail. And there was no mention of the functionality in the chat plugin documentation, but now it's being made available to all businesses. Bleeding edge stuff, people, with the plugin available for implementation from your Facebook page settings. So this is a WordPress plugin. If you're unfamiliar with those, you just click plugins in WordPress, you add this little thing to it, voila, it shows up on your website. Couldn't possibly be easier. Definitely something to consider there. Snapchat updates audience reach insights with regional audience counts. This could help provide more context for your Snapchat marketing approach. Last month, Snapchat shared its Q2 performance numbers, in which it reported a 17% year-on-year increase in daily active users to 238 million. Now we need to look at the USA population. USA population. It is 328 million. So 238 million is 90 shy. Not sure if my math is correct on that. About 90 million shy of the population of the entire United States. So Snapchat has a lot of users, gamers. So reflecting this increase, Snapchat has also updated its Snap Focus Education module on unique audience reach, which also includes more specific detail on Snap's regional audience numbers. So there are 108 million users in the US and Canada, 77 million in Europe, 51 million in what I will refer to as, it says MENA, not even sure what that means, 30 million in India, 6 million in Australia, 32 million Latin and South America. So this gives you a much clearer view as to how popular their app is in each region. It is definitely a global app, but there's a problem. By my math, the total figure of these numbers adds up to 304 million, which is significantly higher than Snap's 238 million user base. Interesting. So what gives? Snapchat has explained to Social Media Today that the figures listed on the above map represent addressable reach, not active users. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. All right, so younger audiences. Here we go. So if you are looking to reach younger audiences, as you can see in the chart above, the crossover between TikTok and Snapchat usage may not be as high as you'd expect. I would expect there to be direct crossover, actually. So this says percent of Snapchatters who do not use the other platform in any given week. Interesting. So looks like Snapchatters, about half of them use TikTok, half of them don't in a given week. Interesting. So you can also break these figures down by region. So here's the point. Snapchat is something to consider. It is very often overlooked as a top tier social media platform. And this is because for most small business owners, at least local small businesses, you're not really targeting the 15 to 25-year-old demographic. Not really. But if you are, Snapchat is obviously something you need to seriously consider. Facebook launches Black Business August to support and highlight Black-owned businesses, according to Andrew Hutchinson. Facebook has announced a new slate of free education sessions and awareness programs as part of National Black Business Month. Google, I want to say a few days ago, offered the option to add Black-owned business to Google My Business, where in the past there has been an option to add woman-owned business, veteran-owned business, and now an option for Black-owned business. I'm reminded of a documentary with Killer Mike where he attempts to only shop at Black-owned businesses for, I want to say, a month or so, and it was very, very challenging for him. I can see the importance of offering this. Quote, we're partnering with the U.S. Black Chamber, Inc. to host Black Business August, a series of free virtual trainings, small business panels, and expert speakers that will continue all month long with 145 Black Chambers of Commerce and 326,000 members across the country. The U.S. Black Chambers provides leadership and advocacy to empower Black business owners, through resources and initiatives. The topics will cover blah, 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 blah. The webinars are free. and will include expert insight and tips, including notes from Facebook's internal teams. In addition to this, Facebook Elevate will host programming throughout the month focused on 4 weekly themes: health and wellness, finance and wealth, food and beverage, beauty and fashion. What is Facebook Elevate? What are you, Facebook Elevate? You are a web page. This is incredibly small. 349 people like this page. Well, that's pretty tiny. I'm not even sure what it is. No idea. Oh my gosh, Leah Morrison's in chat. So much Leah, so much Morrison. Shout out to Pro Group Networks. Got any IT issues? Do you? Reach out to Pro Group Networks. Ask for Leah in particular. She will solve all of your IT-related problems. Facebook's also partnering with The Shade Room to present information sessions for small businesses impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Quote, join Angelica Nwandu, founder of The Shade Room and US Black Chambers, Inc., CEO Ron Busby for Facebook Live event in The Shade Room's blah, 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 blah. I get it. You get it. We all get it. Twitter publishes new data on the effectiveness of utilizing multiple video formats in a campaign. When you're mapping out your digital marketing strategy, do you go with just one main push, or do you consider splicing and cutting down your primary campaign content into smaller formats and ads in order to maximize reach across different display options? I am reminded of the Trump campaign versus the Biden campaign numbers that we looked at in a recent episode, wherein we saw that the dollar amount between the Biden and Trump campaigns in regards to actual ad spend was not too crazy different. However, the nuance level, the depth, the number of ad campaigns in the Trump campaign was much, much higher than the Biden campaign, which is to say, if you are spending the same amount of money, call it $300 million, but this campaign over here is geo-targeting Baptist churches in Alabama with a certain set of ads, and they're also targeting black voters in this specific precinct that is purple with a specific kind of ad. And all of these ads are super hyper targeted, and that costs a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. You have to have the admin to run ads that are this specific. Then, well, you're probably going to have a significant advantage when it comes to the outcome. On consideration, it would be likely a benefit to display your ads in different places and in different formats, and you may well be able to do so with limited additional work, according to Andrew Hutchinson. That's even more likely the case when it comes to video campaigns, where a larger key focus piece can also be cut down into smaller chunks and promotions, expanding your reach potential. I mean, I would argue that the vast majority of people don't want to sit down and watch long-form content, with the exception of the Joe Rogans of the world and podcasts. So yes, if you are a business and you're looking to grab someone's attention and you have a 30-minute piece of content that you can cut into 10 3-minute pieces, then is it worth the extra editing and management effort? Asks Andrew. This is the focus of Twitter's latest research report in order to get a better understanding of the impact of utilizing different ad formats within one campaign. Twitter recently partnered with Magna Global and IPG Media Lab to test user response rates to a multiple video format approach. Oh, nothing says fun like a multiple video format approach. Am I right? Am I right, marketers? For the test, Twitter utilized a combination of its own video ad formats: first view, pre-roll video ads, and promoted video. The researchers conducted their study across 6 industry verticals and 136 different ad scenarios in order to then gauge how each viewer responded on various key elements. The results show that using multiple video ad formats is more effective in terms of boosting brand and product awareness. Quote, research showed that awareness builds as people are exposed to the same ad in additional video ad formats. When looking at a consistent frequency of exposures, a combination of 3 video ad format exposures generates significantly more awareness than exposure to 1 or 2 video ad formats. So what are we talking about with formats here? Are we talking about pre-roll. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about pre-roll in the actual ad itself, stream, just multiple ways of addressing. Is it the same content though, or is it separate videos? I'm getting the feeling it's the same content. Now, that's probably not overly surprising if you were to run a campaign using First View. What's First View? What is First View? What is First View? I don't know. Twitter releases new data on generating response with First View video ads. A year ago, Twitter released a new video ad option called First View, which gives marketers the opportunity to ensure their promoted video will be the first ad their target audience sees when they log into Twitter for the first time on any given day. Whoa. First View Magoo. Let's go, gamers. So if you were to run a campaign using First View, for example, which ensures that your promoted video ID that's a typo, the first ad your target audience sees when they log into Twitter for the first time. We get it. Supplement that with pre-roll video ads focused on a specific audience subset. Okay, so they're seeing pre-roll, they're seeing it on Twitter, is going to increase awareness more so than just doing one or the other. But the research notes here are important aspects. For one, a 13% increase in awareness is not a small amount, so it should definitely be on your radar. We get it, but the main point may be that you're better off going niche than broad with Twitter's video ad products, at least in certain respects. For example, instead of allocating all of your video marketing budget to one big First View campaign, the data here suggests that you may actually be better off honing in on smaller audiences, which is exactly what I was referring to with the Trump campaign. Then splitting your campaign budget across 3 different formats in order to maximize response. Yes, this is obvious. We understand this. The issue, of course, is that, like in all things in life, the harder, more difficult, more time-consuming, more skill-laden path is usually the path that bears the most fruit. Shocker? I think not. SEO checklist. The positive and negative signals you need to know about. Mark Walker Ford with Social Media Today writes, are you looking for ways to improve your ranking in Google? Absolutely not, Mark Walker Ford. Who wants better Google rankings? You've got to be out your mind. Want to learn the positive and negative signals Google looks out for? Oh, please educate me. The team from Blue Ocean Group share their tips for success in this gorgeous infographic. Here's a quick summary of what they cover. The umbrella of off-page SEO, search engine optimization, trust factors that have a positive impact, ways to build better backlinks, social media signals, tactics to avoid. Oh, let's go down this. Look at this gorgeous infographic. Never has a more gorgeous infographic ever been infographicked. All the activities that are performed away from your website to improve its ranking is off-page SEO. This is true. What you rank for is largely determined by on-page factors. How high you rank in search results is largely determined by off-page factors. That's an oversimplification. Umbrella off-page SEO. Earn quality backlinks. All right, let's talk about that briefly. You can earn quality backlinks by, streaming every day and putting a link in the description of the stream. If you create a YouTube video, you can put a link there. Every time you post on Facebook, you can put a link there. Every time you post on Twitter, you can put a link there. Every time you create a Pinterest pin, you can put a link there. If you join the Better Business Bureau or some BNI group or whatever, you can put links there. Now, what they're talking about in earning quality backlinks is mostly once you've done all of the obvious things. They're talking about guest posting, which I think is largely a dumpster fire. So should you be paying for backlinks? Probably not, because every scheme that's ever existed in the history of ever with Google has come crashing down, which is to say, if you email some local person being like, hey, I wrote this article, can you please let me put a link on your website? If it's not already devalued, I would argue that those links are not that valuable. The reason, let's be clear, is because Google wants nothing more than for no one else on the internet, no one ever at any time, for any reason, to sell or barter a link ever, because they make their money how? By selling links with Google Ads. Thank you to whoever just hit the like button. Much thank you. Much love, much like. So yeah, anything that even is close to the gravity of being sucked into the black hole of being perceived as selling, bartering, or trading a link, Google is against. So if you create a link because you're creating content and you're putting it on social media, then Google has no problem with you. But again, there were websites like My Blogcast back in the day where you could find someone who would allow you to put a link on their website if you gave them content. Google said, nope, you can't do that. And all of us were like, why not? But they don't care what we think because they are making many, many billions of dollars selling links. So umbrella off-page SEO, increased social presence. This is the game. Okay, SEO is social media. No, you can't possibly say that. Yes, I sure can. SEO and social media are almost twins at this point. Kellen, how can you say that on-site SEO and titles and meta descriptions are the same thing as a Facebook post? Because if you're gonna make a delicious supper, you've got multiple ingredients. They all come together for what I would describe as deliciousness, which is to say that the distance between like on-site SEO and streaming on YouTube to me is like millimeters. It all looks like the same thing to me at this point. It's all mashed together into what is a good job, which is to say, if you're Michael Jordan, you have to be able to shoot a three-pointer, right? If you're LeBron James, you got to be able to do a left-handed layup or a right-handed layup. This is the point. It's the totality of the game. So yes, I know that there's different words to describe these things, but in my head, they all look like the same thing at this point. Increase visibility on search engine result page. Yeah, you might want to show up on the search engine result page. That seems pretty silly. Improve brand presence. Yeah, people might want to know what your brand is. Improve website ranking. Okay, this is dumb. Build relevant links. Also dumb. Factors that have impact. Why would they write factors that have + VE impact? I don't get it. Authority. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to make it through this article without like an aneurysm. Fine. Here we go. Ways to build better backlinks to local business directories. Yes, you want links from Yelp. You want links from all of these directories that exist. Great. Blog aggregator websites. This is so 10 years ago. Effective ways. There is something called Haro. Okay. Haro is help a reporter out. You might fill out like 30 of these things and get like 1 or 2 responses. So basically some reporter in Indiana is like, I need an SEO person to write about, the next 10 years and how Snapchat is going to take over market share. So you write a little blurb and then maybe, just maybe, you're going to be the one that they pick to put the blurb in. And then maybe, just maybe, they'll give you a link back to your website. But seriously, that's how you want to spend your time? Or do you want to spend your time growing a show, right? Where on YouTube, you can add a link every single day. You see what I'm saying? Collaborate with big media contributors like Forbes as a content or knowledge partner. So there you go. That's more guest blogging. If you find an actual legitimate organization where they will allow you to post regularly, then fine. Go ahead and collaborate. Continue to collaborate. Participate in interviews and events or as a speaker. This one actually worked. I used something called Radio Guest List for many years. I was on a ton of podcasts, and every time I was on the podcast, they would link back to the website. That is a legitimate way to gain links. Mention influencers in your blog posts. Look, this is only going to work if you actually have a blog that people are reading. If you mention influencers in your plumbing blog that gets 5 visits every month, then no, you're probably not going to get these influencers to hook you up. Contribute as a guest author. We talked about this. Incredibly stupid most of the time. Grab opportunity from broken links. Okay, kind of. Build links using expired domains. This is dumb. Create compelling and comprehensive blog posts. Ding, 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 ding. A ding, 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 ding. Yes, compelling and comprehensive blog posts. Long blog posts with multiple pictures and maybe even video. This is the main push. Boost your brand by being a podcast guest. Yes, I talked about this. And then use competitor research data to get links. Every time we've looked at competitor data, what we realize is they do a lot of spammy crap. So I'll look at someone else's link profile. They'll be ranking well today. I'll look at the garbage that they are using to rank well, and I go, I'm not going to replicate that garbage. and then a year from now, they're no longer in that position. So you can't look at other people's data to just assume you're going to find quality links. You might find things like NOLO, for example, for a personal injury attorney. Hey, look, there's this website that allows you to contribute articles, but you've got to pay for them, right? So it's not free. So just because you're looking at your competitors' links doesn't mean that there's this free magic, silver bullet that's going to solve all your problems. Do not ignore, in caps, these link building tactics. Submit your images, videos, and infographics to sites that are accepting it with do follow links. I would just argue submit your images to Pinterest, right? Submit your blogs to social bookmarking sites. No, don't do that. Submit your articles to blog directories. Ugh, blog directories are so dumb and so 15 years ago. All of this, here's what you got to understand. Yes, people want good backlinks, but how people interact with your website is incredibly important. And I would argue more important than a lot of this garbage that people put out. Social media signals. This actually matters. Okay. Create profiles on social media channels like Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and update with quality content. Ding, 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 ding. Engage your audience, increase followers, likes, shares, and comments organically. This is the game. Okay. Not seriously, are you better spending your time trying to get people to actually respond to your LinkedIn posts, engaging with people on LinkedIn, or submitting your articles to blog directories? Seriously? Submit your blogs to social bookmarking sites? No, this is not 2015. Literally, they have a Google Plus. It's defunct. They have a Google Plus image in this graphic, which is something that doesn't even exist anymore. And they're arguing that that's something we should do. Stupid. Warning, critical off-page SEO mistakes to avoid. Do not buy links. Right. Yeah, or barter them. That's the other thing too. Comment spamming is dumb. Avoid Fiverr. Also true. Fiverr is great for graphic design. If you want someone to create some graphic for you or a logo or something, Fiverr's awesome. But there's a million people who are like, I'll sell you amazing backlinks, 10,000 backlinks, and you'll just get your site banned. Stupid. Paid guest posts. Exactly. Don't pay for guest posts. But, if you're bartering for guest posts, what's really the difference? There. We have solved all of the world's problems in summation. Facebook enables a WordPress plugin, so people, apparently according to Facebook, with 45% more frequency will be using that messaging app because they feel more comfortable with it. So you might want to use the WordPress plugin for your website to allow people to communicate with you that way. There may be ancillary benefits of doing it that way. Excuse me. In the reach of your Facebook posts, possibly. There might be a connection there. This is true. Snapchat ain't going nowhere. Huge market share. If you are in the mood to get in front of 15 to 25-year-old potential clients, Snapchat is definitely something to consider. Facebook launches Black Business August to support and highlight Black-owned businesses. Same is true of Google My Business. There's a big push, obviously, right now to help Black-owned businesses thrive. I get it. I understand it. I support it. Twitter publishes new data on the effectiveness of utilizing multiple video formats in a campaign. So you want to have multiple videos in multiple formats, hitting them from multiple angles. We talked about the Biden-Trump campaign in regards to that. Twitter releases new data on generating response with first view ads. There's something called first view ads where you can be the absolute first video ad that someone sees when they sign into Twitter. That's pretty cool. And then this ridiculous infographic about SEO. Create quality content. Get into streaming. Build links from social media. There. Now you know everything. If you haven't hit the like button, that's okay. It's okay. But if you did hit the like button, that would make me a happy camper. The happiest of campers. Do you understand me? It is 10:59. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Marketing as a Foreign Language. Shout out to Leah Morrison for swinging on by. Much appreciation, much love, much thank you. And we will see you all tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will be out Friday, but I will definitely be here tomorrow. So I will see you then. Farewell.